Hello everybody, this is the top-down analysis for the month of November, and let's have a look here at the charts. Euro-dollar. So euro-dollar, well, we have this overall overarching bullish pattern after the breakout activity. Well, there was this possibility that a price finds support here and rebreaks. Well, this didn't happen, and that was a risk, right? Once this hands in, like the 200 support hands in, well, we might fall into this into this free fall territory, and price might drop hard. So this is what happened. Let's just go in one time on the monthly chart. So this is the overall picture, right? So we're basically still into this band, and the price could not break higher, well, especially this week here, back in beginning of 2018. So price now is dropping back down. So we have to see. I mean, this is confirmed bearishness, right? And we have to see when and how the bulls are stepping in. So if the bears are able to break this low, well, then I actually have to second guess if the big picture of a weakening dollar is going to hold. So this is basically the limiting, the limit to the big picture outlook of a weakening dollar. So we had here a 60-minute short pattern. Was a bit unusual, right? But this is confirmed bearishness, right? It broke lower, made a new low, came back, tested the level, which is an important level, and now it looks like it wants to make a new low. So the euro overall is in a bearish position, right? As well against the British pound. So this is a very bearish pattern. So we basically have this in an S2 pattern, right? A consolidation that is breaking a lower, and there's free fall territory here as well too. So it looks quite bearish here for the euro, and that's a special situation where we might get a spike, a price spike of the 200 moving average. So there's clearly a short bias here. And as well, the euro against the Swiss franc. I mean, the euro is falling apart, right, in relation. And we can nicely see here how these things, like when the 200 moving average, how it's so important, right? Like just price went back to this magnet level, and then from here on it fell apart. And that's an important, well, that's an important break, right, of the prior low. Well, overall, we're still in this, well, this is an overall consolidation, right? Well, it's a very clear, I mean, head and shoulder, right, basically. And we're just breaking this level. It's an important level. Well, now the next one is the par level, and then a huge stop run level is down here. So it looks like we're actually, well, that we are continuing, right, this overall downtrend. So there seems to be a lot of bullishness for the Swissy, and a lot of bearishness overall against other pairs for the euro. So something is brewing, and it doesn't look good for the euro at all, as well against the CAD. So CAD here, we had this huge move, right? Well, these three light gray lines are stop run levels. Let's have a quick look here if we can. Yeah. So these prior lows, right, close one next to the other, and this is a stop run move. We had a triple top here, or the 200 was helping, pushing price lower. So the bears are clearly in control. That was a nice move. Well, after such a move, well, you get a pullback, typically to the 200, typically to the 21. Typically with a price pullback higher. Well, this time the 21 was just catching up with price going sideways. So that shows an addition bearishness, right, of the sellers. And it looks like, well, we've just broken here a longer term important level, which is this one. This is a stop run level. So we might actually see now how the euro is falling apart against the CAD. So something is about the CAD that brings a lot of strength, right? And well, the next trigger basically to see this long-term chart, which is the monthly chart basically, right? Here on the monthly chart, we see this is an important level, and there are other important levels, a triple top as well on the monthly. So there's a lot of bullishness, bearishness for the Euro CAD chart, and that's basically the trigger level now, right? You need to look for this wick to be broken, and then patterns will just naturally come up in a strong downtrend. So what we've just seen on the CAD, we didn't see yet on the euro So it looks like the Australian dollar as well is going to develop a lot of strength. Well, we've got a series here, 4 stop run levels, right? A series of levels. Well, they come from these lows. And well, we're looking for a similar strong move, right? Like we've seen for the Euro CAD, something like this. And it's basically looking for a similar move. I mean, a series of red bars intermingled with a couple of 1 bar or 2 bar small green bar pullbacks. So a lot of bearishness overall for the euro. Well, now let's have a closer look at the US dollar. So we see some strengthening in value of the dollar. And we can see that here too against the Aussie, right? Well, this is an S1 pattern. It never triggered, right? When something doesn't get an entry trigger, well, that's a bearish signal for the chart. So we could actually see if it doesn't rebreak now, well, we could actually see that price falls down here in this area. A failed pattern might fail terribly on the other side. And we might actually see a dollar strength versus Australian dollar weakness. So here, looking at the dollar against the Kiwi, this is a pattern. We are still at in a balance point. So the entry triggered, and we didn't see much follow through. Well, it's slightly bearish. We made a new high and a new higher low and a higher high. So it's basically undecided yet, right? What the dollar is doing. With some against some currencies, it looks strong. Against others, it looks weak, basically. Now let's have a look against the Swissy. I mean, the Swissy is in an overall. This is an overall bearish pattern, short pattern, and it has already shown nice follow through to the downside. So dollar bearishness, right, and Swiss franc strength. Well, this is still the same, right? We just got a pullback. We have small bars, so we're in a volatility contraction, which is great for a couple of months now. So I'm expecting, the dollar getting weak against the Swissy, and we've seen as well that the Swissy is very strong against the euro too. So we're basically here in a sideways price action. We're seeing that there's a volatility contraction, right? So a decision is imminent sooner or later. Now let's have a look at the yen crosses, starting with Swiss yen, because the yen showed a lot of weakness, right? Just here, these last couple of months. This is an S1 pattern as well. We were already in a strong uptrend. This is a pattern putting up the pressure, right? Volatility contraction, and then a big run. So that's the first leg, right? And what we're seeing now, well, this is just a pullback, and price might, well, typically even pulls back further down. So there is a lot of bearishness for the yen, and let's just have a look at the other yen pairs. Odd yen as well. Here we have triggered a long entry, so there's bullish pressure. CAD yen, CAD is one of the stronger ones, right? Another pattern breaking to a new high, pulling back. So currently we are in a phase of pause, right? Price needs to come back. There was a possibility that this is a pattern. Well, back then here, well, it didn't materialize. We're seeing basically a pullback, right? And the next target is the 21 moving average. 21 moving average here. So we're at an important pressure point, right? This dominant high. Well, that's an interesting chart because, well, we couldn't. Well, let's make that bigger. So this is sideways activity, right? And well, this was a trial to break out of sideways and run long. Well, this got sold heavily, right? And then we came down here. Well, we're in this range, right? Well, this one here tries to break. Well, it broke this low and it tried to run those stop run levels. Well, that was a failure too. So we neither see nor the bulls nor the bears strong enough to leave this sideways range. Well, currently at this current price level, we're basically in between, right? So that becomes a range play. So there's room up to here, or if it turns down, there's room down to here. But as we have this bullish pattern on the lower time frame on the weekly chart, well, clearly the directional bias is long, and there is room to go. So that's a nice example of pound yen. So with the pound yen, we already, we broke to a new high too, and we already have come back, right, to meet the 21 moving average. So we should see now that that this could be, well, that this forms a bottom, right? We could actually spike and test the 200, and then we should actually see a second leg coming in. So I'm quite bearish for the yen overall against all other crosses. We already have seen now, right, that the CAD is strong and the Swiss is strong. So whenever you have something like this, well, it's interesting to find out which one is actually stronger, right? And we just look here at the higher time frames. Well, it's actually the Canadian dollar, right? The Swiss is very strong against the euro, but the CAD is even stronger, right? We have a bullish pattern, and well, we were not breaking to a new high. We found resistance at the big number. Well, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, the bulls just need a pullback, and that's a pullback into a cluster level here that clusters with the 200, the 21, and the and there's a big number and the flat level. So price just comes back to a very strong cluster level of support, and I would not be surprised at all if we see another leg forming here that breaks to a new high, and we see some good CAD strength against the Swissy. The Swissy might do well too, right? But the CAD looks much stronger than the Swiss. Well, the same is actually true if you compare the pound versus the Swiss. So the pound looks stronger against even a strong Swiss, right? This is a bullish pattern. It didn't trigger yet, but we should see a lot of pound bullishness coming up, and well, you can always well, what we're looking for is basically a measured move, right? So there could be a lot of bullishness. Let's see, there's a stop run level. So the bullishness basically, there are many stop run levels. So we could actually see be surprised, right? Many people might get surprised by a big bullish like a big bullish move with the pound getting stronger and stronger. I don't know what the reason could be, right? But there are nice stop run levels, and it looks like the pound is turning around, like, right, that this is a bottoming formation with the corona spike actually marking the bottom. And we see that with many charts, that the corona spike March 2020 marks an important turning point. So here's another look at the euro now against the Kiwi. Again, here there's a lot of bearish pressure on the euro from perspective of the Kiwi, right? It looks very bad for the euro, and we might see some political news actually coming out of the eurozone that is not very good, and that is actually, well, this might be the precursors, right, for something bigger happening in the eurozone. And the euro is weak against many other currency pairs. I mean, as well here against the Singapore dollar, right? It was holding well here at equal level, and then it completely breaks apart, the euro. And well, we're still here in a sideways range. This is an important, well, we've got a big number, a very big number, which is this one, important support, and then another level of support. Well, that's easy win, right? Gaining, I mean, the bears gaining ground easily because there's no resistance in the way. Well, we'll actually see who is stronger, the euro or the Singapore dollar, once we approach this level. Should we see this to break to a new low, or we might actually see the euro to get on fire, right? Overall, well, that's clearly bearish. And currently it remains a range play, right? There's room to go down here. We are overextended now, so it might pull back, but there's still room to go to get down to this lower range without actually needing to break the low. There are trading opportunities. So this is it. I hope it was of help. Thank you.